Hello, guys! How is everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Gaming Gone Weird, the gaming podcast where we talk about everything and all gaming news with a little bit of twist of weird games. I am your host today, Nick Tana. Hopefully, everybody's doing great on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Football's back. Fall seems like it's trickling in. A lot
Very
of games
excited.
to be played, a lot of games to be talked about, and we are honored and blessed for the king to return to the podcast in his throne. Missed last week for a very great vacation, I heard, that I can't wait to hear him talk about. But he's back today, man. My 6'8" friend. He put his AirPods on charge today. They're in the back. Peter, you guys call him Ghost Stories. I call him my best friend. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm as tan as I've ever been, which isn't saying much. I feel refreshed and reset and ready to get back, shins deep into. I was trying to think of other words. Shins deep into
Like, are you in
content.
quicksand? I don't understand. Like, what do you mean by shins? Like, I don't under, like, are you sinking?
If you're standing in shallow water, shins deep.
Shins deep. Okay. I'm trying to get where you're getting at, but you're just been too much on a boat, man.
It's too. I'm set. What do you call it? You're like sun kissed. You're like you're not really focused.
Oh yeah, dude, you just
You know
came
what I'm saying?
straight back from a vacation. I didn't expect you to be locked in at all. Like, I seriously don't. Like, we're gonna get through this whole hour, and Peach is gonna be like, "Yep, I agree. Yeah." Expect very little words from our friends. So where'd you even go? Out of curiosity, tell the people
I
where
went
you were.
to. I flew back to the West Coast and went to Lake Roosevelt, Washington, which is just a giant lake, and then also went to Wenatchee, Washington, which is this cool little valley along a giant river, and then just saw some friends, saw my mom. Did not take my work computer, answered 0 emails for 2 weeks, only responded to a handful of customers who reached out direct, but other than that, did not do any work at all and just unplugged completely. I put out one TikTok and then just didn't do any content either.
No
Just,
Switch. You know, you didn't bring the Switch aboard.
I brought the
either?
Switch.
Okay.
Grinding
Oh.
through Octopath Traveler, but it's a grind. So
Hey, I like it.
it's a
That's
grind.
what vacation is, man. You don't want to worry about work. You just got your Switch on board. You got your family, all that. That's what it's all about, man. I'm glad that you got a lot of that done. So that's good. That's good.
It was good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've been grinding a lot of Starfield. You guys already know Starfield has been the game everybody's talking about. Everybody has their good things to say about it, or a lot of people have their very bad things to say about it. But we are going to get into that a little bit later. I have been playing that, but the thing that has been like really stinking, man, is just like it's fall. And I love my football. Me and Pete, guys, if you guys don't know, we love gaming, but we also truly and like very are passionate about football. So we love gaming, we love football. So we got gaming. That like gaming has been really good as it is. Plus all the games that are be coming out this month in October is going to be jam packed. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Game Pass has absolutely been doing its thing. So we got that and we got Starfield. So I've been juggling like 3-4 games. There was a day where I hopped on Madden. I did my daily objectives to make sure that I get, my XP, get my Jalen Ramsey experience. Because, we're trying to get Jalen Ramsey to be 90 overall to compete against these other teams, right? So I've been grinding the Madden, a little bit of that. So, but then I want to play Starfield. Me and the wife will sit down, have a Starfield session, have a good time. But then there's times where it's like I really just want to play Sea of Stars. So I have been just juggling game after game after game. And then Ace hit me up the other day, and Ace was like, you want to play some Pokemon Unite? And I'm like, dude, I've been playing everything, man. Like I just can't get myself to take one game right now and just strictly play it. Like I've been really trying so hard just to focus on Starfield though. Like Starfield is just it's a game changer. It's a game changer, good or bad. Like no matter how you want to think about it, like this has been game changing for the gaming industry. So,
And we definitely jump into that. I was about to ask you a bunch of questions, but we're not quite there yet.
Right,
So I
we'll
do have
definitely-
questions for you about Starfield.
right, we'll definitely touch on it later for
But
sure.
dude,
For sure.
I feel the same way. I feel like gaming is in a really good spot right now. At least I'm like thoroughly busy with
been
options,
so happy.
good
I've just
options.
I've
I'm
been
still-
so happy. Like
I'm
that's
still
the
balled
best
up
thing.
Like that's gonna take me forever to get through, which I'm fine with because I'm having fun and then it's like, okay, well, after I finish that, then what? Then you have to go to go to Starfield, which is gonna take another 100 hours to get through. So,
Well, then you got Assassin's Creed.
and then it's Christmas, and then I have Assassin's Creed Jade, which I gotta take home.
Then my kid's graduating.
Yeah.
Like, that game's gonna take a million days to
And
play.
my first son is born. And I'm like,
right. Where's
I've only
the
done
time
2
gone?
games. God. Yeah. And
Man,
then
but
another Assassin's Creed will be out by then. So I'm
Oh
really
right, they're just gonna
excited.
keep pushing them out. You're like Assassin's Creed Japan. You're like, oh, oh no, is here. I do want to say thank you guys all for being here. If you guys are new or you guys are watching this live or after the fact, if you guys want to help support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, the best way to do so, make sure you guys subscribe to make sure you guys never miss a Gaming Gone Weird. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We talk about all gaming news. Subscribing to Know Your News also gives you access to the other podcasts on here where we have a sports podcast that I really enjoy. And we also have the Know Your News, which is like the weird news of the week. So make sure you guys do that. Like, comment, all that stuff. Make sure you guys get involved. And we appreciate everybody here. But Pete, you ready to kick off everything?
I am. Send it.
First question of the day. Did your fantasy team win or lose?
I'm in 4 fantasy leagues this year,
Okay.
and I won all 4 games this week.
That's some lucky business, bro. You went on
And-
vacation and you won every single fantasy
And
game
the
too.
last game that I won this week was because of the punt return by the Jets on Monday night.
My God.
I
You know
needed
what-
6. Or I was down by 4, so I needed 5 points. They returned it, so I got 6 points. And I won.
You know what we're doing next week? We're gonna do a
What's up?
fantasy draft with video game characters. Me against you.
Down.
Down? Okay.
100%.
Don't make me forget.
Positional? Or just like they have to fill positions?
Yeah, well, you'll get your basic ones like quarterback, running back,
Okay.
draft 3 receivers, and then a defense.
All right. Down.
Like a defense would be like a video game series. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right. Or just 11 copies of that character.
That is true. Yeah. Who's the most athletic, strongest person ever?
I
to
think
grace the
if I had
video game
11,
football game?
11 Kratos on defense, I mean, I feel like you guys are
Oh, you'd win. You'd win every game.
Yeah,
17-0.
okay.
17-0.
Yeah.
The
That's
games
a great
that are
one.
the games that are coming out this week, guys, we do have a lot of them. The first thing I have on my list is I think it's Eternites. It comes out for the PS5, PS4, and PC. That came out September 12th. Nor Play With Your Food came out September 12th. Super Bomberman, a game that I feel like it has a bunch of different spin-offs and a bunch of different weirdness that goes on with that game. That comes out for the PS5, Xbox, and all the other current gen systems. That comes out September 12th. Gunbrella is a game that I was super, super excited for by the publisher Devolver Digital. You guys know I'm a big fan of them. So Gunbrella, that came out today. Also, happy Scarlet and Violet DLC day because the TL Mask came out today. So I'm going to have to ask Coco how that went. Ad Infinium, I think that's how you say it, came out September 14th, is coming out September 14th. At AK Axolotl, a game about an axolotl with an AK that comes out tomorrow on September 14th.
Can we just talk about the cover art for Ad Infinium? I feel like that goes
It's
pretty
really
hard.
creepy. I wish I could show you guys right now. I don't have it saved, but it is a skeleton with a soldier helmet on. I think it's kind of tough.
I think it's kinda
honestly,
tough.
I think it's pretty tough.
It
But
looks
it's
like a metal
also-
album.
Yeah, I think of an old army game, like an old war game.
Yeah.
I wish I could read the description on it. It doesn't really say. Deceit 2 comes out for PC and it's coming out September 14th. Dune Spice Wars comes out September 14th. Monster Hunter Now, the mobile game for Monster Hunter, is coming out tomorrow on September 14th. A game that I am really crazy excited for to play. It's coming out on Game Pass tomorrow. Is Solar Ash. This game came out for the PC and PS5. I really love the graphics of the game, and I love the game way it looks. So I'm excited to play that. It is coming out on Game Pass, so I will not have to purchase it. That comes out tomorrow. Thunder Ray is a boxing game that comes out September 14th, and the Crew Motor Fest comes out September 14th as well. Like a lot of games. Is anything on that list like really spark your interest a little bit?
Deceit 2.
Deceit 2?
Deceit 2.
He did say Deceit 2, so we're sitting here going over notes. He did say Deceit 2 in my ear, and I don't know why, but okay. I was like, okay, cool. Deceit 2.
Deceit 2 is it's like a multiplayer survival game. It's either like a 1v4 or something like that, or maybe 2v6. Like every time you add more survivors, it adds more bad guys. But you can basically shapeshift from a monster to a survivor. So it's like think Among Us, but at certain times you like have to morph into a monster, and you have like a short window to try to take people out, and then you have to morph back into a human. But it's all proximity chat. It's one of those types of those types of titles. So you're like, people are lying to each other. It's actually a really fun party game.
Interesting. Okay. What makes you think they had to make a second one though? It's a party game.
It actually, like, the first one came out a while ago, and I seem to recall it being pretty popular. If you're like into those types of genres, like the Dead by Daylight style, that type of thing. But there's a lot of mechanics to it. Like there's like blood bags that you as a monster you have to steal, like as a person when nobody's looking, because that's the only way to keep your health up. So that's like constantly running down. I thought the maps were pretty cool. I don't know. It's just kind of well made, I think, and probably warranted a sequel.
If you're excited for it, man, I'm excited for it. That's all.
It's a fun party game. Fun party game.
Can't have enough of those. For quick news, what I have on my list for you guys, I do want to talk about. The State of Play is announced for tomorrow, and it's going to be focusing on indies and third-party releases. So if you guys are PlayStation fans, you definitely want to check into that tomorrow. But if you guys also can't get enough of that State of the Play, there is going to be a Nintendo Direct as well, slated for tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is kind of crazy because they just had a Nintendo Direct not too long ago. I think it was last week, to talk about everything.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, they talked about the Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So they're just kind of coming at it with these directs. The thing that I liked about these little directs, the State of the Plays, for me, is I like that they came out not a lot, and when they come out, they're going to show something new, something fresh, or something different. Like, I don't really know why they're going with the back-to-back thing. I know, obviously, the other direct is like just focused on one game, so hopefully this one they'll talk about a lot of stuff, but we'll see. I know they did just come out with a DLC for Pokemon, but they probably won't bring up anything about that. I can't really think of anything, so we'll have to wait and see. Peter's gonna go ahead and kick us off with the first topic of the show. Pete, go ahead and run us through it. This is an important one, yo.
Yeah, this is something that I just learned about recently too, which could have potential for future, implications on the cost of games, specifically how developers, indie devs are charged. I assume typically it starts with indie devs, but how those studios get charged for their games to be hosted. But the Unity engine, which is something that you develop games on, has announced something that they've titled, or maybe the community's titled, a runtime fee, which essentially will charge a game developer each time a game using the engine is downloaded. Now there are some like minimums that they have to hit. So far what's being reported is that when the sales of that game reach a threshold of $200,000 in revenue over a 12-month period, and 200,000 total installs. And so once you hit that level, what's being reported currently is that the developers will then be charged up to 20 cents per install. So if your game does well on the Unity engine being hosted by this, you're actually going to start seeing bills in the mail. which is almost sounds like a utility fee.
Yeah,
which is like kind of crazy.
The thing that I don't like about it is how they could just randomly just like put into effect, like, we're gonna put a tax on you if you just randomly like hit a certain threshold for how good your games do, because it's not affecting everybody. That's the problem. Like, it's not, the thing is about it with me is that I notice is that you have to reach the threshold to actually get hit with the fee. So it's not trying to discourage people of making games, but it's also discouraging people that, like, okay, if you're a very, let's say like a smaller end developer and you make a game,
a team of 2.
Yeah, and it's like that number might be a very like reachable number, but that might be your high number. So it's like 200,000, 300,000. That's your ceiling, and it's like, okay, now I reached 300,000 downloads. So now you're expecting me. I'm devoted my whole time into this and scraped by just to get this game out, and now you're telling me every time someone installs it, I have to pay you money for it. Like, it just does nothing but it messes up the game industry in general for people like, I'll throw in my pin right here, Cult of the Lamb. Smaller developer, smaller team. I mean,
very successful game.
Very, very successful. A lot of people are downloading that, but now you're getting, I wouldn't say punished, but you're also getting like, you're owing people money for your game's success. It just seems very random and it's just not ethical to me at all. I don't like the decision.
So for example, so let's say you hit 300,000 downloads. Let's say it's the max that's being reported, 20 cents. So if you have 300,000 downloads, you're getting charged $20,000.
Yes.
Now, if you're a smaller time developer and there's, the team of 2 or 3, and you having to pay back whatever, maybe you got a like an angel investment, or like you got loans from other people and you're trying to pay back these loans, or I doubt at this stage people are like funding their own games or probably raising funding somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, hey, we got 300,000 downloads. And it's like, now I'm getting dinged 20 grand right off the top just to host it. Now, I understand that there's charges to host things, but it's just weird that it's like, why would I want to, first of all, why would I want to use your engine anymore? Is it that good? What are my options? 2, what if me, the developer, goes, okay, well, I'm only going to make 199.999 copies available. So the first 199,999 users get it. Right. So even that. So like, if I'm a developer and I'm like, hey, I only have just under 200,000 copies available now. So if you do really well, I said, hey, I can't do it now because I'm going to get charged after that. So, right. and then there's all these questions that have come up where it's like, if I'm a consumer, I uninstall the game and then I reinstall it. Am I, the developer, now getting charged for 2 instances of that installation?
Because how are they going to track like where the installations are coming from? For one, and we all know as gamers like how tough storage spaces to come around. You have a game like Starfield that's 150 gigabytes. You have Call of Duty that's pushing 200 gigabytes. Madden pushes 100 gigabytes. Some of these consoles only come out maybe like half a terabyte nowadays. And then that you don't even get that full half a terabyte. You only get like 300 of it because they have the other apps and everything else installed. Memory is just expensive and it's hard to come by.
Storage is expensive.
It's hard to come by. So there are some times like, hey, I really need to install Starfield. I'm gonna go ahead uninstall some of these other games because I'll get back to it another time. And then as Raph said in the comments, so this discourages cheaper free indie games, and that's the other thing. So you're telling me if you're going to get charged for having this game be installed, that strays you away from wanting to make a free-to-play game. Because if people could just instantly download your game and that ceiling just goes like to 1 million,
all right,
and it doesn't cost anybody to do that, and let's say nobody wants to spend any money in the shop or anything, you're banking on the shop being good, but nobody wants to spend money in the shop,
right? Because it's no longer a free game.
You're cooked. You got to think of like all these games. Like I pulled up, this list came from IGN. This article is by Logan Plant. He was basically listing all the games that gets affected by stuff like this. Games like Among Us. Among Us is a maybe like $3 free to play. It's pretty close. Call of the Lamb, $10 game. Everybody from Devolver Digital. Those games are always cheap. I can't think of a game that's like super expensive for them.
I've never seen really anything over $15 from Devolver.
Another Crab's Treasure. Another small team.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl,
Fall
Guys, Cuphead, Tunic. Tunic's a Game Pass game.
COD Mobile.
I think that game was only $30, so it's still a cheap game. And Tunic was up for Indie Game of the Year. So you're telling me like that, like a lot of people didn't download that game? Would Fortnite become as big with this in place?
Free to play is always going to be the max.
Yeah, because it's not the fact. Fortnite will still be big because it doesn't affect the consumer. This is more of like this is affecting the people that are making these games.
It could though if they push that cost onto the consumer.
Right.
So I have a free game. I'm being charged now. Okay, it's no longer a free game. It's a $5 game because you have to cover the costs of it doing so well. So this could affect it.
Right. And I'm honestly curious how would that affect, because games like Outer Wilds, that's a game on Game Pass. Hollow Knight, that's a Game Pass game. Pokemon
also
Go,
insanely
free
popular
game. Very
Pokemon
popular
Go,
game.
popular.
I've heard people who I've never got to witness Outer Wilds for myself, but I heard a lot of people say it's a very good game. Very unique type of game. But again, a game people really enjoy, and it's on Game Pass. So you're telling me people, because Xbox, that goes back to other articles we talked about, Xbox, they're already realizing that the Game Pass is bringing in less income for them because nobody's technically buying the game. So that probably means that it's not getting, the people that are making these games are probably getting money from it, a lot of money. So, I mean, now you're telling me it's on Game Pass and people are installing that?
How many times have you installed a game and never touched it, but it was there? It's free.
Dude, plenty of times, bro. There's plenty of games I've installed. Hey, bro, we gonna get on this game. We get on it one time, and then it just doesn't work out. Think of all the free-to-play games. I can't name any off of here that were free-to-play. But even so, there's a bunch of free-to-play games that you Knockout City. It was a free-to-play game. A lot of people played it, but were you really gonna buy cosmetics in Knockout City? I wasn't going to. Me personally, no. So you don't get any money from that. And then if that went into effect with this upcharge for the installs, you're losing money. You're losing money. It's straight and simple. And
it now costs you to put your game out. Yeah.
And it's already hard for these people to put out these games. So
yeah, I just don't think I just don't think game developers and studios all make as much money as people think they do. It's just there are certain studios that we can all name them. Maybe there's 5 major ones, and they're all going to be owned by Xbox soon anyway. So it's going to be one studio.
Unless you're a game that's doing there's games that really do very successfully, but they still don't live the luxury life. You still got to pay your team. You still got to pay to get everything done. Graphic, you put in your time. They're not billionaires by any means. I mean, these are small indie teams that these are mainly affecting. This doesn't affect the billion quadrillionaires. It just doesn't. It just affects smaller games that actually put out really good games. Because we've already had this talk too. Man, it's the small, weird games. Gaming gone weird. It's the weird game. Dave the Divers, the Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb, when it came out, was one of my favorite games. I mean, is it that way now? No. But that game, when I played it, I was like, this is huge. I was like, it took that dungeon crawling and it took that Animal Crossing feel and it made something great. And I was like, yo, why does nobody not know about this? Why isn't it? And then it started to get big, but the team over at Call of the Lamb aren't billionaires. I could probably guarantee you that, and this affects teams like them.
Yeah, I guess when I read that type of thing, you think what's the motivation? And toward the end of these articles, they were saying Unity has cut a bunch of staff and they're reporting losses. So I guess what you could look at it as is they're trying to think of other ways that they can try to earn some of that lost revenue back because of reporting losses, and they've let go of so many people at the company. If they were doing really, really well and then changed it, I mean, I don't think they would. We would hope that they wouldn't change it, but
Right.
when you're in kind of a crappy situation, and I don't know how the last couple of years has affected studios. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't.
That's way above my pay grade to be trying to figure that out. Like, you know
maybe
what I'm saying?
this, it feels like a
game.
All right, it feels like a like a Hail Mary. See if this works. They know for sure that there's going to be pushback and it's going to make people mad, and maybe the hope is that developers are going to push this extra cost onto consumers, which is what the end goal ends up being every time. It's just like any service. You just keep getting charged at the top, and the bills keep going downhill, and the people at the bottom are us, unfortunately. So I don't know. They'll lose some people. Some people will stay because they can afford it and they don't want to change. It's easier to stay than change. But for the indie devs, man, it's where do they go?
Right. I wanted to just highlight this one right here, and we talked about in the second paragraph. It says, guess who has a somewhat highly anticipated game coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2024? That's right, it's us and a lot of other developers. That means Another Crab's Treasure will be free to install for the 25 million Game Pass subscribers. If a fraction of those users download our game, Unity could take a fee that puts an enormous dent in our income and threatens the sustainability of our business.
Highlight on business. It's their business too.
Let me know what you guys think.
Did you see the very end of that message? I think it's the last sentence. I just noticed that.
This is the crab with the knife for me.
Yeah, man. It's stinks. They have to make money too.
Yeah. I'm definitely on the end of I hate these guys. They hate these Unity guys for sure. Definitely not on board. In other news, and some highlighting happy news, I want to highlight this for Pete. Pete, Pikmin 4, man. You're the Pikmin guy.
What's up?
It's still number 1 in Japan.
Look at it.
Pikmin 4.
Look at it.
Reigning supreme in Japan.
You want to hear some games that can't...
Yeah, I want to hear. Let's hear the games that couldn't beat Pikmin 4.
Here's some titles.
Over
maybe
in
you've heard
Japan.
of. Here's some titles and publishers. Maybe you've heard of them. From Software.
Armored Core 6.
Oh.
Fending it off.
Huh. Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, very big game.
Legend of Zelda.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Just a couple.
Pikmin hype is real, man. Are you excited? Nintendo is just doing big things, man. Big things in Japan, man.
Look,
obviously,
they can't lose. Okay, they can't lose. They're undefeated. Honestly,
this beautiful game beat out a From Software game.
Did you play the demo?
No, man, not yet. I told myself I was gonna play
free.
that. Man,
man, it's free. Don't you own the full game?
Bro, Starfield out, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
you playing Starfield in your bed, dude? Come on.
On the couch. I haven't. My Switch needs to get dusted. I have to play this DLC. They reported that the DLC was only 30 minutes. Yikes! I think they were saying it was about $20, and it takes 4 hours to complete. Is that a good deal?
For what?
Pokemon DLC?
I don't know. I don't play Pokemon games.
Next topic.
20 hours, $20 for 4 hours. So $5 an hour. I don't know.
Plus you get so
$10 maybe. 10 plus tax.
But like the story is probably 4 hours. I'm talking about like catching all the Pokemon, you get all the items, you get there's little bit of perks here and there. I'm not saying 4 hours and then that's it for you. I think it's a good deal. I was testing your knowledge on Pokemon.
You know what else you could get for $20? Pikmin 4. I think it's probably 60. You could buy a third of the game, which is number 1 in Japan, by the way. I don't know if you. I think we just talked about it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know why you said it was $20.
It might be 60.
It's
might be
60,
It
bro.
might be
It's
60.
100% $60.
Yeah.
Nintendo will never get Nintendo
Never
will,
discount.
No,
Never
no.
discount.
No, that will never go on sale, dude. You better like. I'm not even gonna say Nintendo's gonna be knocking on my door like, yeah, finish the pod. You're next, buddy.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
No, I'm excited, man. One of my favorite franchises all time. I just finished 1 and 2 within the last 2 months, and I'm excited to dive into 3 and then get fully into 4.
Hey man, I just wanted to give a big congrats over there at for the Pikmin team, the Pikmin dog for sure. I love that little guy.
Dude, I played that
I
demo.
just
It
don't
looks
know why he doesn't have
so
nostrils.
good.
Why does he not have nostrils?
I don't know. Why does it only have 2 legs? We don't know.
Like there's something about it. So I was trying to put my hand on like why it looked a little different. He doesn't have nostrils, doesn't have eyebrows. He doesn't have like a nose, like nostrils. But like none of the Pikmin do either. Some of the Pikmin don't even have mouths. They got no eyebrows, no noses.
We see they each have a different feature, right? So like one's got big ears, one's got a big nose, one's got a little mouth.
Hey man,
got
you watch your
crazy
mouth,
eyes.
bro. Why do you wash your mouth against those Pikmin? You're being insulting. Why are you pointing out his nose like that? Why are you making fun of him? The red one's the coolest Pikmin. Yeah, that one's got a big nose. Like, what do you mean by that? What's next, huh? What's next? What are you gonna make
No,
fun
I'm good
of?
now. I don't want to play. I don't want to play anymore.
What are you gonna say? The teal one's too round now? Is that what you're gonna say? Like I don't.
Look
where
at the
are we
wide
going with
set.
this?
Wide set purple. That's what that one is.
No, the purple one looks like he's chill. I'd have a drink with the purple one.
Oh. Anyway,
I'd have a twisted tea with the purple one for sure. Man, let me know if we got any Pikmin fanatics in here. Pikmin connoisseurs, Pikmin pokers. I'm trying to think of like a Pikmin professors. Pikmin professors.
Pikmin proprietors.
Pikmin proprietors. Hashtag it. We want to see it on Twitter. Getting into our main topic of the day, guys. It's something I've been waiting for a very long time to talk about. We didn't talk about it last week when the game came out because unfortunately I haven't played it because I don't even know why. I really forgot why I wasn't playing it, but I think was the pod up when it yeah, I think it came out the day of the pod and I did not touch it at all. I had a busy day.
Fake fan.
Yeah, fake fan, sure. But I did not end up playing it, so I didn't end up talking about it. We talked about a little bit about the Pokemon DLC and what we're excited for, but to let you guys know, I finally have touched down onto space and played Starfield, and I'm going to give you some like first reactions of the game and kind of talking about it, how my experience went with everything, and go with that. I do want to highlight this isn't like a review, a straight up review or anything, just because of the mere fact that this game is going to take a cajillion hours to beat. I maybe scratched the surface of 20 hours, so I put in a little bit of my time, but I'm just going to basically tell you what I think about everything and kind of the stories that are revolving around the orbits of this game, because there's a lot of things. First off, if you guys don't know a Starfield game, Starfield is a game by Bethesda. It is basically an open world space game. You can explore the galaxy, go on to different planets. You can mine, craft. You could fight space pirates, get introduced to new companions and friends, and really explore the world of space. First, getting into like the first things of how I felt about this game is I didn't know how I would feel about a game in space. Yeah, okay, the review is coming in 2025. I'll see you in 2025, Tim, all right? Tim loves coming in here and saying, like, yeah, the review's coming later. Like, yeah, we'll wait.
Don't hold your breath. Tim out.
Tim, it's funny because Tim will just say that and it'll be like, he's right. And everybody's just sitting there and they're like, man, Tim's really spin right now. And that's the crazy thing. It's like everybody's team Tim right now. Like everybody's on his side. But I didn't know how I would feel about a game in space for the first time. I'm not a big space guy. I know a lot of people love games like Mass Effect, and I haven't played Mass Effect, but it really doesn't like make me want to touch it just because like I've never really been a big fan of space. I can honestly say playing this game in space, it's been really fun. I like the worlds. I like the planets that it has, even though I was kind of pooping on it and saying like there's like 900 planets that don't have nothing on it. To merely why I think that is like still BS and that shouldn't be a thing. It still is super nice to go from like planet to planet and do stuff like that. Have you watched any videos at all or anything on it, Pete?
Yep, I have.
What are some things that you could say you personally enjoyed of the game so far?
I like one of the things I liked, which kind of reminded me of Borderlands a little bit. Now, I played the Outer Worlds. Did you ever play the Outer Worlds?
Yes, I did play Outer Worlds.
Okay. Did you see any similarities between Outer Worlds and this one? Because I liked the Outer Worlds. I liked like the discussions.
I did notice the discussions. I was gonna get into that, and I think that's a good leadway segue into that. One of my favorite things to do in this game is I really haven't upgraded anything that like I would say like the important stuff. Like a lot of people would upgrade like their health or their jetpack. I'm the guy strength. Ooh.
Hit points. Nerds.
The oxygen levels. Who needs to breathe when you're already level 3 out of 4 in persuasion?
I always level persuasion.
My favorite thing in a Bethesda game is to just try and persuade people. Yeah. It kind of sucks because I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say there was a point where I persuaded someone to kill a crew member on their ship. Mm-hmm. And it's just so funny that you can do stuff like that. But persuasion and the dialogue has been some of my favorite things to do in this game. I think the persuasion, or I think the dialogue options, and it really gets you in the story for the fact that it leads you into you could do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. We say that with Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate does a better job of giving you the access to doing whatever you want, but I think Starfield is like right underneath it on terms of that. Starfield literally lets you do whatever you want. If it gives you the dialogue option too, I guess. Like there's like really smart remarks with some of the dialogues. There's also very like general responses for the responses. You could lie, you could persuade, but it lets you do whatever you want. Like there's instances where you're gonna have to pick one side or the other, and you make your own judgments off of that. And sometimes you question yourself, and it makes the game and the story very, very interesting. So I will say, for the mere fact of like the missions and the stories, I was very, very involved and very happy with that. Versus like the Outer Worlds, I remember doing the first mission, and I think when it was, you know how you have to figure out if you want to like steal the power from the guy that has all the money, or you could give the money to this lady, but she's like trying to destroy like the town, or like that really didn't like spark my interest. Versus like Starfield, the way the story was, it was very intriguing. A lot of the dialogue options, I was very locked in, and I put myself in the shoes and even found myself favoring some of the options that you might not even think you would favor. You're like, okay, these guys are bad. But then you get to know some of these characters. You start talking to their leader, and you start listening to the guy that they look up to and believe the prophecies of. And you're like, oh my God, am I really thinking about being a part of the Crimson Fleet? Like it's stuff like that. It's insane. Story-wise, what the game could make you think. I thought the customization was okay. I showed it off a little bit earlier. This was me making my guy.
Just character customization?
Character customization was cool. I will say, and I'm speaking on the behalf of my wife didn't like the options that they gave the girls. I'm thinking because a lot of them were like very short-haired, not very long-haired, like very ponytail type things. I'm guessing because you're in space.
Spacesuits.
Gotta have your
space cut.
Yeah, space cut type of thing.
One thing I did notice that I thought was kind of like Borderlands a little bit, which is one of my favorite series all time, is like the types of mods, kind of like seemingly random mods you can get for your weapons or your spacesuit. It's like weird stuff. One I saw, if you stand a certain spacesuit, if you stand close enough to an enemy, they'll just burst into flames. Like that's so weird and kind of fun and kind of cool. Or like a weapon mod that'll the lower health that you are, the more damage it does. So it's kind of like saving you as you're getting further into danger. So I love that. I love little stuff like that as far as the mods go. Because I think if you have mods in games, they really should be. I think if they're kind of quirky, it's better versus like, oh, this mod, it just makes your health better. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of basic, but if it's kind of weird, like your health increases if you fight for more than 3 seconds while you're crouched. I think that type of stuff is funny. So I did see that they had that, which I thought was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. One thing I did want to ask you about, I don't know how far into the game you are, but the ship customization stuff got highlighted a lot, and it kind of reminded me of the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom stuff where you're trying to like build these contraptions. Is it good? Is the ship cut? Because that was like a big highlight, and I genuinely don't know. I've seen like pros and cons of both, but as far as the ship customization, is it good? Is your ship really cool?
Man.
Is it a floating box?
So that's funny that you brought that up. Because yesterday might have been, and it took a lot for me to come on here and really try and swallow, because I was sitting here and I had a very bad experience with Starfield yesterday.
Really?
And I was going to get into it, but we can get into it now.
Yeah, I think we should.
So there's a part in the game where you have to take one of your ships and you have to add 2 type of equipments to it. It was called a comm spike and it was called like a jammer or something. It was 2 things I had to throw on. Mm-hmm. And with the Frontier ship that you get, you can't mount both of those things on there. In order to get to a certain planet, you need to have both of them on there. So you have to figure out what to take off your ship and how to rebuild your ship to put both of these things on there. Mm-hmm. The game doesn't do anything to show you how to like customize your ship. It doesn't give you a tutorial. It doesn't give you like a one-off mission to be like, hey, we need you to like edit your ship a little bit, or you need to buy a ship, because the ships are too expensive to buy. So I'm sitting here like messing with my ship, and I took off cockpits. I took off like
the wings,
cargo bays, like like essential stuff. Yeah. And I was able to eventually figure out what I had to do to put the equipment on, but it really messed up my ship because there's a lot of aspects that you have to worry about. You have to worry about your mast. You have to worry about the certain stat attributes. It's a lot. And
a lot good or a lot like annoying?
I haven't been a really big fan of the ship stuff. I'm going to be plain out and simple. I'm kind of picking and choosing what I want to say that I really liked and what I really didn't like. Just because mere people will just be like, oh, he's just dumb. Like, I really just don't care to do a lot of like, I feel like this game, it takes a lot of thinking, which could be good or bad. When it comes to ship customization, I don't give a rat's butt. I really don't. Like what ship's gonna get me from like point A to point B? Can I upgrade my stuff? Can I not? I don't really care to add all this extra stuff. I really don't care to like, what do I gotta do to add these? Because like I started messing with my ships so much to where it took off missiles. It took off certain weapons that I used. It started messing with my weight and my speeds. It started messing with my stats. And it's like, you really have to just kind of learn and get invested into what the ship is doing. So that was kind of a like part for me, honestly.
Okay.
I also had a bad experience with the game that I had a bug. So I'm doing this quest line right now for the Crimson Fleet. I'm on the last mission, and I'm at this part where you have to transfer these funds, and the game just bugs. It won't let you like get into the next part at all. It just freezes. It doesn't freeze. when you activate this switch, a horde is supposed to come in and you're supposed to take out this horde basically, and you can't. Like they just like these robots will spawn in the room outside and they'll just stay there and you just can't do anything with it. And that kind of sucked for me because it's like I just went to this planet. I fought off countless amount of enemies with a lot of ammo, used up a lot of my med packs, everything just to get to this part of the mission, just for them to the game not work. And everything you looked up, everybody was just like, oh, but it's just Bethesda. You know, Bethesda games has bugs, bro. I'm like, dude, forget that, man. Forget that, bro. Like, this is like, I'm sick of that Bethesda stuff, bro. Like, I'm sick of the, oh, you know, the Bethesda game is going to have bugs, bro. Like, no. Bro, it is 2023. Your team's bigger than ever. Your game has been worked on forever. It's gotten pushed back, bro. Like, no, man. Like, no. Fun bugs are okay. Like, sometimes I experience some fun bugs, but there's also times where I've experienced like really bad bugs, like with stuff like that. Like, if I had to use all of my ammunition, all of my resources and stuff to get to this part of the level and I can't even complete it, that's bull to me, bro. That makes absolute zero sense. And just for them to be like, and like you look it up and it's like, okay, well, it's Bethesda. There's a lot of points in this game where I did have to look up a lot of stuff just because I felt like they don't really introduce you to that stuff. And I didn't like that at all, honestly.
Well, I mean, I guess a game of this scale, I don't know, man. Like the bugs thing, like there's always going to be bugs, but I don't know how you combat that. I mean, unless it's like super glaring stuff related to super important, like stuff that you're going to use all the time. Like you said, fun bugs. But if there's like bugs with completing missions and stuff, that's
yeah.
At what point do we say you had enough time?
Right.
Again, extremely complicated. Never made a game. Have no idea. It's a giant game, giant scale, giant team. At what point do you say, how long do you need it? Do you need a decade? Do you need 10 years to put out something that feels does it feel complete when you play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that then, like, do you feel the value there? If you think it's complete?
This game has a lot of value. I think this game does have a lot of value, and I want to highlight what New Punk said. Starfield is far away from Game of the Year. I 100% agree. I think there's way too many games that will overstack that, but I do also think that this is Xbox's Game of the Year. I think this is the best Xbox game that came out this year. I think this is the staple to Xbox. I think this is what sells Xboxes. I think this is what drives Xboxes. Do I think it's a perfect game? Absolutely not. Do I think it's better than Baldur's Gate? Absolutely not. Do I even think it's better than Tears of the Kingdom? Probably not. Just for the mere fact that I know it could have been a lot better. I think this game is super fun, though. I love the aspect of like the character customization is very good. I like the different type of spaceships. One thing that I was very surprised about is I showed it a little bit earlier. The gunplay actually felt very good.
I've heard nothing but positives about the combat.
Yeah, the combat is super fun, and I was like very, very worried about that because I saw how they were playing in the Xbox showcases and a little bit of the gunplay, and I'm like, it looks a little off. It doesn't look perfect, but then I saw something and I played it, and I was like, it feels good. It really doesn't bother me at all. There's a lot of different guns in the game. Like you get laser guns, you get pistols, shotguns, you get your rifles. The guns are very cool. They come with mods, yeah, and you could mod them based on like how much you upgrade your. I think it's like a skill tree thing that if you keep on upgrading it, you could do that. But you find a lot of legendary weapons, and it is very good. It's just you have to really sit here and learn the game a lot. It took me, like, I know it sounds dumb, but like 1,000,000 guns, that also means 1,000,000 ammos. That also means trying to figure out what ammo do you need for your certain guns. And it took me kind of yesterday to just be like, yo, I can't get any ammo. So you got to make sure you go buy some ammo. You got to make sure what I need. Okay, I've been using the Grenadale. That means I need that 77, I think it's 7.77 caseless. Now I know that in my freaking head because I can never find ammo anywhere. You find ammo in space? No, you pick them off of pirates that have them. You're gonna find bullets just laying around. You gotta you could loot them at some point, but to find the real ammo that you need, it's like you're gonna have to loot them all pirates. Like my legendary pistol, I know I need that .43. I think it's MI, but there's also a .43 Ultra. There's also a .43 caseless. You have to pay attention to a lot of that stuff, and it really took me a long time to do that. But I feel like you can do just about anything in this game. To kind of feed into another thing that I've been kind of doing with my character that I think is very fun. This Bethesda game literally just lets you pick up anything. You're walking around, you see anything. Tablet, pick it up. Succulent, pick it up. Water bottle, pick it up. I think
do they all have like sell values?
Like maybe a credit. A credit is like $1 or whatever it is. But the one thing I've been doing is I have been grabbing every tool I see. So I'm trying to find every tool in the game. I've gotten bolt cutters, wrenches, 3 different hammers, 3 different screwdrivers. I'm just looking for a toolbox to put them in. I haven't found a toolbox, but I bought literally every single tool I bought. I've seen impact drills. I think there's 2 impact drills that I saw.
What's the goal? Like, is there a task to do that?
No, but that's the thing, is it's fun. I wish I would have had the actual clip on it, because there was somebody who took a crap load of potatoes and just shoved 1,000 potatoes into a cockpit. And it's like, what do you earn? It's like nothing. Right. But let you do that. And even when they showed this game off at the Xbox showcase, the person that was like, oh, I'm just going to sit there and hoard sandwiches because why not? And everybody's like, why would you do that? And he's like, because it's funny.
Right.
Going and raiding ships and finding their food and just putting it out in your ship is just like, that's something that I love that Bethesda really did. And they have a lot of optional quests in here that you could do. Like if you're doing a main quest, you could do a bunch of optional stuff. Like there's times I don't really want to like give off too many like spoilers of it, or I don't want to give you like the main point of the mission, but there was times where it was like I would go through a main mission and a side character would be like, look, I know you're not supposed to do this, but like we could do this right now. And it's like, bro, but it will like completely. My problem is I'm not a risk taker. I'm not. So like there was times where it's like, hey man, we could do this right now. And it's like, oh, but what are the consequences? But right. I love that. That goes back to that dialogue that I love so much. And it's been great. And I think this game has also been like really fun and refreshing to me because me and my wife have just been sitting back over there on the 2 TVs, and she plays on one side, I play on the other.
Oh, that's cool.
And we talk with each other, and I watch her do her playthrough, and I'm like, man, she really inspiring me to like really go to this part of the game and go to this planet. Or I was like, or I'm doing something. She's like, oh, how'd you do that? And then we're just like giving each other tips and stuff. That's back really and cool. forth. And I will give Mo to her credit. Mo's very good at these Bethesda games. I'm still kind of a noob, hence to say why like, oh, I'm struggling during getting the right ship parts. Like she'd probably be able to figure that out in an instant. I can't. I hated it. If I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't upgrade my ship or I wouldn't do anything at all.
So I did also want to ask just a quick thing. I know we're coming to the end of the episode here. A big concern was about, I know there was a big concern raised with like things going on each planet. Now you have all these planets, you go explore and people are like, yeah, I went there, but there's nothing there. Do you find yourself going to like exploring a bunch of planets and you're like, oh, there's actually stuff to do on every single one? Or do you find yourself going to a planet, you're like, hey, I walked for 5 minutes, didn't see anything, I guess I'll just leave now? Like is it worth it to explore outside of the specific quests?
The main things that you do get out of that are the resources. The resources can also help you. I guess I could say you could get resources done to research a lot of things, gun attachments, gun mods, food mods, be able to get better outcomes when you do that type of stuff. The thing is with me with that is if I'm a touchdown on a planet, I could get carried away and I could just roam around and try and find every single resource possible. And that takes way too long. The worst thing when I do is I land on a planet is I love to mine things, and I think the mining is cool. I love the different type of resources they have. Like I found nickel, iron, H2O. There's certain enemies on there, like animals, that you could take their fibers, and like you could take some of their like certain body parts and you could make stuff with. It's very cool, but like I'll get too sucked up into it. But if I don't see like any pirates, or if I don't see anything like a building I can loot or anything, then I'm just kind of out. I definitely see where like Todd Howard wanted to come to that, where it's like, oh, you could do whatever you like. It's space. They want to symbolize space,
Right.
but it's also like, man, sometimes you just need to make space more interesting. You know what I'm saying? I get not everything's gonna have a lot of stuff, but it kind of also makes me scared to explore certain planets, because if I spend all this time going to this planet, I touch down, it has nothing, I consider it a loss. There's also times where it's like you can land on a planet and you better make sure you have this certain space suit on you because it has radiation. I've had bad sandstorms. I've had low oxygen. I've had planets where like there's literally zero gravity and you could just fly from one end to the other, which is cool. But there's a lot of factors that take into it. So, I mean, that just depends on if you like to explore that much. I do, but then it comes to a time where it's like, am I exploring too much? Because if you hold too much weight or too much stuff in your inventory, then you start losing oxygen when you run. Hence, you start losing health. You lose health, you die. Nobody wants to die.
Right.
If I had to give this game on a scale from 1 to 10 right now, it'd be an 8.5 for me. Just because I think the experiences I've had with this game has just been a little bit better with, obviously me playing with my wife has been a major thing with me that I've loved to do, having that gaming experience. But we've also just made it fun because we always just are like, we'd leave the family functions early. We're like, yeah, we're going to space. And nobody knows what we mean, but it's like, yeah, we're going to space.
That's
And, but we get excited to do that. It's been something I've been like looking forward to and excited to play. I think the game could improve on a lot of aspects of it. I do think this is Xbox's breadwinner right now. So salute to them for finally finding their game. I think there's a lot of episodes we can go back and say we just said we're unsure. We're not very sure. I think we got our answers. I think the game is hype. I think it's real. I think it's good. I think it will be Game of the Year contender. Will I think it wins? Absolutely not. But I do think this game is out there for a certain audience, and I think it did a very good job of finding its identity and doing its thing.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I mean. The minimum of what you can hope for. Like it could have had a really terrible release. It could have had a Cyberpunk release, and it just doesn't seem like it's had that. The reviews on Steam are mostly positive, so we'll take that as far as a massive release like this.
It's hard to take a lot of these reviews with a grain of salt too, because we didn't really touch on the article, guys, but there was articles that it came out that Microsoft and Bethesda were very careful about who they gave review codes to. So that could maybe affect the very beginning of the reviews.
Sure.
Because a lot of the reviews were very good. I think a lot of people were talking about like, oh, this game is the greatest. I've seen a lot of Xbox fanboys who've gotten review codes, and they did they gave very good reviews on it. Which I get it, man. Like people might just generally like it, but like I think if that was the case, that's kind of
that's marketing.
It's
marketing. It's a marketing cost.
It's not going to completely persuade my decision on it, because I absolutely crapped on the game as soon as it came out, or as soon as everybody was talking about it. I was like, man, this stuff's going to be booty. But then I changed my mind after playing it, and I'd rather have a game prove me wrong, than have me prove the game wrong.
And if people don't think that happens with every game, you're crazy. Of course, every company chooses who they give pre-release codes to. So as far as what I've seen in terms of reviews from the where if you Google game review, the first few websites or companies that come up, they give about the same rating. It's usually landing in between a 7 and an 8, somewhere in there. So better than average, not perfect, room for improvement,
right.
But on such a massive scale. And Bethesda, like I don't not trust what they're gonna do, the changes they can make, and when you have a game like that, you can just keep making expansions. Like you can just
I
have
just don't
unlimited
think-
DLC. You can just keep making
I-
planets. You know.
I don't know when the game ends, like, because I was thinking that the same way too. I was like, could they add a DLC to this? I was like, basically, I mean, they already have 1,000 planets. They could go the Cyberpunk route and add another story mode to it, add another few side quests to it. Oh, a new constellation comes in, or a new
Ship mods, like a new
Yeah.
ship system, a new inventory
And I'd be
system.
okay with that. Oh, a new town was formed on this planet. Go visit it and see what's up. And it's like new enemies, new guns. I'd be down for that. This game on Metacritic, I think is sitting. I'll double check right now before we close out. It should be sitting at a 84, which isn't bad. Yeah, it's sitting at like an 84 based on 75 critic reviews, which isn't bad. I mean, that's around where like Mortal Kombat's sitting.
It could have
right
been
now.
so much worse.
I felt like it could have been worse, but I also felt like the ceiling was very high too. So
they can still get there. They
it's so
can.
good.
So.
They could add 2,000 more planets. Yes, sir.
I want like team boss, like PvE events where you can go and sync with friends and go like fight a world boss or
I know that's
something.
what sucks. You can't play with friends, man. That was like the worst thing. Like, I want to be able to play with my friends.
Can you play with your friends on any Bethesda games?
No,
Can you imagine like a group of 4 playing Skyrim?
that'd be so tough.
Everyone would just be Fusra dying each other.
Don't be confused, bro. Like, there's just gonna be someone that puts in a mod where you can play with your friends on PC.
true.
So I'm just, we'll get it.
Lots of mods to
Due
come.
time. Due time.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
Guys, we've reached our hour mark here on Gaming Gone Weird. Thank you guys for kicking us with Gaming Gone Weird, episode number 52, Starfield Edition. I seriously appreciate everybody's love and support, man. Vacation Pete, tell the people what you're going to be working on, what you're going to be doing, your plans, and all that type of stuff, man. Go for it.
We continue the Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play. Episode 4 will start this week, which is just me playing through Baldur's Gate for the first time. It's a Let's Play on YouTube. I'll also be making and getting caught up with all my fantasy football content on Ghost Fantasy Football. So I'm a little bit behind. I have to share like drafts in those teams. And then other than that, man, just trying to get my sleep right, trying to get my sleep back. But I'm excited to get back into especially into the Let's Play. And like I was having a blast playing that. And that's what I'm doing this week. What about you, man?
It's great to have you back, though, Pete, man. I really missed you last week. But yeah, man, my name is Nick Tana, guys. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm a game critique, game journalist type of guy. I love to talk everything in all video games, and I like to critique them and give you guys my opinion on games. So if you guys like seeing reviews on games that I'm playing, I would definitely love you guys to check out You Love Nick Tana on YouTube, where we talk about everything games. Like I said, reviews. My last review was 2 Bayonetta reviews that I really loved. We're working on a bunch of other reviews. I'm waiting to where I could beat these games. So as Tim would say, 2025. But I think the time will come where I will be pushing out a review soon. So make sure you guys check that out. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitter for all my terrible gaming opinions and my Starfield screenshots. Other than that, thank you guys for watching Gaming Gone Weird. We go live 8 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. So if you guys want to stay tuned, make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. And we love you guys, man. Tell someone else you love them. And we'll catch you guys next week for more weird gaming. Later. I lied. I'm going to play Madden.